We've got the live button. We're ready to go. It's Monday, 5:30 Eastern time for our Ovadia Heart Health live stream. And I have the lucky privilege to be chatting, talking, getting inspired from Amanda Decker. Welcome, Amanda.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. And as always, before we get started, we've got a little housekeeping we need to do and want to let everyone know that this live stream is not at all intended for personal medical care. This is truly just a live stream to educate, to inspire. Please put your questions in. And if you are looking for personal medical care, reach out to our team at ifixhearts.com. Okay, housekeeping is done. And well, Amanda, I've got lots of questions. And I want to encourage our audience. I see we already got Babs from Texas. Welcome, Babs. And please put your comments in the comment section for us. And for those listeners who already know you, this will be old information, but we're going to have probably some listeners who don't know about your practice, who are not familiar with what you're doing in Tennessee. How about giving us the shorter version of Amanda and her practice?
Oh, goodness. I don't know that there is a short version to Amanda and her practice, but I'll try. So in January of this year, so January 2024, I left traditional medicine and formed ClearPath Medical. So I am the owner and solo provider inside of ClearPath Medical, which is a direct primary care and metabolic health practice. So I help people maintain their health. I help people regain their health, get off medications, feel vitality again, feel life again, not feel like their health is kind of dragging them down. I left the traditional practice because I was helping people, was definitely helping people, but I was wearing myself out and I wasn't able to fully devote as much time as I felt like the clients needed. So in traditional practice, you get like 10, 15 minutes at max to see a patient to try to listen to their story, diagnose them, order test, order treatment, and help them make some lifestyle changes if you need to do all that, which is just impractical to do. You just don't deliver the best care. So here I can get 30 minutes to an hour to sit down and really get to know my clients. I can have them back and see them as often as I need to without charging them extra money. It's all included in one set fee. So it's just a total healthcare package there.
And what a change, right? A big change. And I love the word, and I'm going to just pick it out of those is, help them with their health, but also help them regain their health. Mm-hmm. And this is, something we don't see in traditional settings, whether it's the 15, and I'm going to call traditional mainstream medical practices.
Conventional is a great word for it because it is the conventional mainstream, which is not what I'm practicing anymore.
Right. And for individuals who aren't familiar, what is your kind of perspective? You talked about health, but you talked about metabolic health. For listeners who that's a first time hearing that term, how do you explain that?
Yeah. So your metabolic health affects everything from your head to your toes. There is not an organ system or a part of your body that your metabolic health does not touch. And it boils down to metabolism. And most people think of metabolism as weight loss, only going into can I burn energy and lose weight? But it's the metabolism of cells. It's how they create, generate, and reproduce and create energy for the rest of your body. So it's this huge process of what energizes your body, what heals your body, what fuels your body. And it is controlled by hormones. And most people, when they hear hormones, they think estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. All they're thinking about is the sex hormones. But you have hundreds of hormones throughout your entire body that control every process that happens in there. So it's everything from cortisol to thyroid to hunger hormones to pituitary hormones. I mean, we're controlled by our hormones, but they affect on the cells to create energy, to heal, to reproduce at that little teeny level. But anything that happens at the teeny level comes out and happens in a bigger way. You can't have a bigger display until it happens at the tiny level first. So.
Wow, that's a lot of information, and I love it because here at the Ovadia Heart Health, our employee wellness programs are really focused on metabolic health, which is different from, and I'm going to steal your word, conventional
Mhm.
uh, medical system was more about disease management. Oh, you're sick, you've got diabetes, or you have some other chronic illness. We're going to work on treating that. We want to work on those metabolic processes you just described. And for any of your listeners, if you're interested in knowing about Amanda's practice, do reach out at Clear Path Medical. That website is up there. Something also exciting. I know I've been to your event before. Sadly, I'm not going to be there, but we will.
No.
We have this year, great representation from Dr. Ovadia, as well as Lisa Simmons, our nurse practitioner, who I know you know well and have worked with. Tell us about your event.
Yeah, so Low Carb for Better Health. This is our 4th year. It is in the Middle Tennessee area in a nice, serene setting, Montgomery Bell State Park. You would be happy to know we're adding exercise in this year. So we're adding a guided hike, and Robert Sykes, Keto Savage, is going to teach people how to do body weight exercises to build strength and flexibility. That was something that people requested. But it's for the everyday person. Now, medical people are welcome there, and we do have some medical people attending, but it's designed for everybody else out there who is trying to be healthy and either needs some help, needs some support, or wants to connect with other people who are also thinking that way. Because, Kristen, you know that when you start making changes, it's kind of like you're the oddball out there, aren't you? You're the only person that's trying to be healthy. And so you feel odd, and sometimes you fall off the plan just because you're the only one trying to do the plan. And when you come to events like this, it's connecting with other people and you no longer feel like an oddball. So the event itself is a traditional conference. So we have speakers that speak about an hour, and then they give time for Q&A, but there's also lots of downtime so that you can connect with some great vendors who some have low carb products, but Ovadia Heart Health is going to be there as a vendor. So if you want to connect with a heart provider, we've got some keto bakeries that are there, some ketone companies that are there, even a ketone swag like shirts. Who doesn't love t-shirts and just show their keto pride and things like that? Be there, connect with those vendors, but also connect with the speakers. So you'll be able to connect with them while they're on stage. But in the backside of that, in the hallway or in between breaks, hey, let me ask you some questions, or what do you think about this? Or what do you just getting that connection that you're not going to get maybe through a social media or through a random email.
And and again, Amanda didn't pay me to say that it is an absolutely gorgeous setting. As an avid hiker, I was so jealous last time that I didn't get out into that area. So I'm going to expect to see some photos from our colleagues there. And B. Rose says, hello, so beautiful there, sad to miss this year.
Yeah.
So you've obviously been before. And I think this is an important point that you bring up, not just about your event. I've been in this field for decades. I've been to, I don't even want to count how many events and things, but building your community, finding a community, and being able to feel as an individual that the event is not exclusive, that it's not just for your researchers, your academic individuals, your medical practitioners, but that you can actually interact with all these people, because it's about the journey, the individual journey. And I think this is very unique what you have there. And I'll often say about events, it's the side conversations that actually maybe are more inspiring than just the speaker.
Oh, 100%.
Right. And on that note, do you have something to share with our listeners about some of the speakers that are going to be there?
Yeah. So I have my list sitting next to me because I always
Good.
leave somebody out. So I have 2 speakers that are geared more towards the motivational side of things. We have Autumn Weathers. She spoke a couple of years ago. She runs the site Watch Autumn Keto. She speaks from her personal journey of being someone that has struggled with obesity and gastrointestinal issues and has used nutrition as part of her healing journey. And it's just got a good, inspiring story, and is somebody that lets you feel welcomed and loved, all in her talk. We also have Tracy McBeef. So she is part of the Nutrition Network Coalition. She's a certified health coach. She's also a certified exercise therapist. I didn't know that until recently, but that was in her past life as certified exercise therapist. But she is known as the health and healing coach. I think it's health and healing coach. I said that right. She has a way with words to kind of sink in it to your heart and make it sit there and help you think about, why am I on this journey? What's important to me? What's going to keep me going when I'm struggling? So those are my two kind of motivational people. We have Keto Savage, Robert Sykes, who is a natural bodybuilder. I don't know if you've seen pictures of him without his clothes on. If you've seen his commercial or his social media, he's down to like the undies in every single one of them. But that man's got some muscles. More than that, though, he has a heart to help people understand that the old nutritional dogma of you have to have carbs to build muscle and to build a body is incorrect. And he proves it with his own life and journey. I was on his show last week, and he was even speaking, or he was on my show, I can't even remember which one, but he was speaking about his history with bulimia as part of a bodybuilder and how changing his nutrition to a ketogenic lifestyle actually helped him deal with his eating disorder there. And it was an amazing thing to be able to touch base there. We have Dr. Andrea Salcido. She's a gynecologist who loves to teach about how insulin resistance and these metabolic dysfunctions actually lead to a lot of female issues. One of the main ones she likes to talk about is endometriosis and abnormal uterine bleeding. I think that's maybe the direction she's going to go. She also might bring some menopausal care into that too, because that seems to be something that women are just very confused on, is menopausal treatment. Looking forward to her talk. Craig Emmerich will be there. He has spoken before. He likes to speak about trying to different ways to tip into burning body fat, because you and I have seen plenty of people who feel like they're doing everything right, but then it feels like they're not getting into those fat stores. And that's kind of his specialty, is looking that direction. Who else we got? Dr. David Diamond. I'm looking forward to seeing Dr.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I love his talks, but really tapping into that big question of statin therapy, and do we need it? Do we not need it? What are the truth and the lies about that? So that's his thing that he's getting into. Bill will be there. Dr. Ovadia
Yes.
will be there. Yes, I'm looking forward to his talk and seeing where he's going to take that heart discussion come in. He has such a way of connecting with the individual too, and just making them not feel crazy for thinking that they're doing the wrong thing, for going to the traditional cardiologist and not taking the medicines that they're there. So I love the connection that he has. And then Ken and Nisha Berry will be there as well. And the PhD health coaches will be there doing a PhD experience. So PhD experience, get this, it's health coaches, but imagine like speed dating. So you're going to have tables of individuals and the coaches rotate, and they give you a different topic that they're going to talk about to just see what it's like to work with a health coach. Because many people underrate health coaching. They think it's not needed. I don't need somebody to walk me through that. But health coaches see things that you don't see, and they can give you insight that you wouldn't have even thought about. And so to be able to experience that will be a unique thing.
Yeah, well, and for our audience, I did not pay Amanda to say that about coaching. Obviously, as a not only director of our employee wellness programs, but I'm a metabolic health coach, have been for a long time. And it's great to see coaching finally getting its day in the light a little bit, because many of us have worked in the background for years, and agree, B. Rose, what a great lineup of speakers. I can't wait to hear all about it as well. And it is this opportunity, because every time you speak with someone else, you're going to see that diamond from a different side. You're going to see something shining, or something that could use a little bit of a shine up. You know, in our telemedicine practice, for those who don't know, again, at the Ovadia Heart Health, we have a telemedicine practice. And we have this other component, our employee wellness programs. And if you'd like to connect with us or learn more about our wellness programs, the website is right there up, ovadiahearthealth.com/wellness. So we have these two different things, but they all work in the same team base. So in the telemedicine practice, you work with the coach, and then you work with the nurse practitioner, and then you get to work with Dr. Ovadia. And we do utilizing that same in our employee wellness programs. So group coaching, but also one-on-one coaching. Well, I'm also like B. Rose, very sad I won't be there. But let's dive into a little bit more for the listeners of your new practice. What are some of the, well, share maybe one recent success with us, because that's always motivating and inspiring.
Yeah. So my recent success has been a little bit different. Just to preface things, for several years before I broke from this practice, I was predominantly doing a weight management. I still had a primary care side of things, but I was developing a weight management practice. And I've moved slightly away from that in ClearPath. I still do a lot of weight management, don't get me wrong. But I opened back up to primary care, and for people who wanted to work with a provider who was well-versed in low carb diets and that therapeutic, whether it's keto, carnivore, ketovore, all the things in between that it could be. So that's been the biggest growth, is people who wanted a primary care person that they could work with, or someone that could help them balance hormones in conjunction with primary care things. One of my biggest successes recently, and it's not a success in a way that most would think it would be, because I haven't seen healing for this person yet, but it's someone who's been on a low carb diet for probably at least 10 years. They have lost weight. They have reversed their diabetes and gotten their A1C down into a pre-diabetic range. I think she's at like 5.8, 5.9. But her weight loss has been completely stalled for 2 years. She just still does not feel well. She feels better than she did, but she just didn't feel well. And from taking time to sit and listen to her history, to listen to her tell me her history, the pain points that have happened from a young age until now, a different diagnosis. There's been broken bones that were random, surgeries that didn't heal appropriately, still seeing kind of borderline high sugars, even though she's eating nothing but meat and mostly fatty type meats. So not things that should be stimulating sugar. It's like, have you ever been screened for Cushing's? She's never been screened for Cushing's, and Cushing's is a disorder where your cortisol levels are unregulated. You're producing too much of it. Sometimes it is from a non-cancerous tumor on the pituitary or the adrenal glands, and other times we can't find a source for it. And she said, "No, I've never been diagnosed with Cushing's, never been tested, but I had a kidney stone couple of years ago, and they found this spot on my adrenal gland, but they just said it was benign. It was nothing to worry about," which most of them are written off as benign, because most of them are. But we took that history and took what she was saying and took her serious, that she didn't just need to add medicines to make sure she didn't have worsening sugars, that there was something going on underneath. Did a dextromethasone suppression test, and she has Cushing's, and it's something that she can date back to her first symptoms being before she was keto, improving on keto. But for at least 20 years, this lady has had Cushing's issues. And what we know from the research with that particular disease is it affects the quality of life so much. And, she's been kind of written off for this long, saying that, she's just crazy, or that people not believing her and her nutrition type things. And it turns out there is an underlying pathology, something that needs to be corrected. And we're on the road to trying to get her the help that she needs now, that's been ignored for 20 years.
Oh, wow. Talk about inspiring there. And this is because you have the time, right? That you don't have to do this in 15 minutes, that you can hear her, as you mentioned before, hear her story, look at her history, be able to dig deeper. Well, congratulations, and wonderful she's in your good care at the moment. So I have one question I see here on the side. Individuals asking, will you have video option available after or before?
Yeah, so you can go and purchase video options now. So go to the website lc4bh.com, go to purchase a ticket, but look around on that website when you get there for the store, and you can go straight to the store and purchase the video options. It's being professionally recorded, and I believe I will have it out to everybody by Sunday, the day after the event, which will be the 14th, as long as you're there as well.
So I can be there in spirit and watch the recording afterwards, right?
Yes.
Thank you, B. Rose, for asking that. And no, it will not be streamed live, correct?
That is one of the things about a state park. We're looking for this great serene environment that makes you feel like you're getting away. Cell phone service and internet service is not so good. We even tried to use the first year we were there, the Wi-Fi to live stream it, and it went down 4 times during the feed. It's like, never, never again. I'm just going to have to do recordings.
Great. And you know what? It's a great opportunity to have people put their phones away and
Yes.
actually have conversations. I think it's very healthy these days when the internet reception is not so great.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to live stream, and Lisa Simmons is here online, we will miss you. Yes, and I look forward to seeing you, Lisa, on several of our trips with our employee wellness programs. We have.
Now you guys look like you're having so much fun when you're out there. Just getting
She's Lisa Simmons, our nurse practitioner. Not only is she a talented nurse practitioner, but she's a great colleague, and we're enjoying helping bring metabolic health to the workplace. It's a fantastic opportunity. What's a challenge in the practice? Or
I think part of the biggest challenge this year is the getting up and getting going and the changing models. And I've been a nurse practitioner for over 20 years at this point. I've practiced in my hometown where my clinic is for at least 16 years. So I have a lot of clients that have followed me for 16 years now as their primary care provider. And one of the biggest challenges has been trying to relay how this care is different and why it's worth paying for. So in the direct primary care model and in y'all's model as well, people are paying cash for these services. Now I do give my clients the super bill, which is kind of like what I would send for insurance reimbursement, so they can file and try to get some of their money back from an out-of-network kind of standpoint. But what I've found is if I can get them to experience that first visit, just to see how it's different, they're sold, because they're coming to the clinic, they're pulled back very quickly. When I say pulled back, brought back into the exam room. They're not sitting in the lobby for 30 minutes to an hour waiting to be seen with 20 million other different people that have who knows what. I'm in there promptly. They get my full and undivided attention, my staff's full and undivided attention, and the time that they need. But then for follow-up, the connection, and you've probably seen this in your practice too, to be able to just message your team and to get a reply back within 24 hours, that's huge. As opposed to a traditional practice that some of my clients have went to that didn't follow me. And they're like, man, I haven't heard back. It's been like a week. I sent this message a week and I haven't gotten an answer. Well, this is your health. You need answers. If you don't have the correct information when you need it, how are you supposed to make any changes or make a difference in what you're doing with your body? So it's important to have that connection and that trust that's there. So once they experience that level of care, it makes sense of why should I put money towards this?
Yeah, it's a extremely valuable point. And over the last couple months, I'm pretty active on X or Twitter.
Mhm.
There have been countless stories about people even saying, posting examples about what the price is with their insurance and what the cash pay price is. And it's an extreme difference. So if you think about getting the value for your money, a phrase I'll often use is you're either going to pay at the front end or the back end, right? When it comes to your health. And there is actually no price on health.
That is true.
Right.
That is true. Once it's gone, it's like you'd wish you would have paid more attention to it ahead of time, but.
Yes. Yeah. Those are great, a little challenge what we have, as well as the, success you've had. How do you think honestly, we struggle sometimes to present to people that the old model of employee wellness of just, if you get sick, we'll help you out. To wanting to be at the front end, the metabolic health, that is an investment. Do you have any interactions with companies or have any experience with individuals maybe who you helped with their health and they sort of were inspired their company to do something?
So my experience with employee health is different than kind of what you guys do. So before I was in my last practice, I ran an employee wellness center for 6 years. But this employee wellness center was a primary care clinic that the company put in place where employees could come and visit me for charge. So they could do their preventative care, they could do sick care. It was a traditional practice, but it was exclusive for those employees. What I learned, even though I was doing more of the traditional mindset at that time, because this was before I really got into doing metabolic health, is when you have this smaller group of people that you're caring for, it's kind of like what I'm doing now. I was fully investing into those people. So we got that unique relationship there. It was fast care and it was good care. In my new practice, I would love to still partner with some small businesses. For example, in my hometown, someone who owns their own business and has like 4 employees can't afford to buy health insurance, but what they could do is invest in something like a direct primary care practice, who is then going to partner with the individual client and talk to them about these underlying metabolic health issues along with it. So it's not just the fix it, because that's the traditional model. It's let's do something to try to fix it or put a Band-Aid on it right now. And when I say fix it, I really mean just treat it with the drug and cover it up. So it is more Band-Aid type medicine, moving more into a let's identify it before we even could have told that it was a problem without searching deeper into some blood work, and make sure we intervene before it becomes the trickle after that.
Excellent insight. And a lot of companies have been very successful with these small, I'll just use the word clinic on site or availability of something. You're addressing the issues right in real time. Things don't build up, and you get that personal relationship, right? And small groups are a catalyst. We're, once you can get a core group that start to demonstrate change, that can trickle on around. I encourage anyone listening in. You got lots of fabulous comments here. Amanda rocks. Let's say Lillian asked, I think we already addressed that. Will any of it be streamed online? You can purchase the virtual ticket, and correct me if I'm wrong, Amanda, on your site. And again, we'll put that site up. It's Low Carb for Better Health, but it's all the letters and numbers. Easy way to remember it. What would you think? What's maybe some low hanging fruit, either for just an individual that's wanting to improve their metabolic health, or let's say a small company, medium sized company? What's some simple things they could get going with?
Yeah. So for the individual, I think the best thing you can do is try to eat mostly whole foods. Before we get into whole like macronutrients, protein, fat, carbohydrate, if you are trying to eat foods that are single ingredients that are grown from the planet or come straight from the animal, that's one of the best things that you can do, followed with working on your sleep patterns. Sleep is vitally important to our body, to our metabolic health. It really messes with our hormones when it gets off. So trying to have a dedicated bedtime, dedicated awake time, a time when you put those screens away and disconnect from them so that you can wind down and get into a better sleep pattern. So those are my 2 things for individuals. Now on the company side of things, I think there's a lot of things that you could do. And one of the things, if I would start with, now in my clinic, so I don't let reps bring in food. So no direct reps are bringing me in food or sugary coffees or anything like that. None of my clients anymore are bringing me in things. My snack that I have for my girls is black coffee in the back. That's about it. We don't go out to eat, and we do go out to eat, but we would go and get like steaks or fajitas and leave the tortillas and things off. But in a different company with a different style that has maybe vending machines or food supplied for their individuals, start with offering some better choices, things that are the least processed as possible. And let's look at like just drinks. So you could offer water, and then you could still have the other bad for you things that I don't even want to say their names of it, but everything else other than water. But there's been quality research done about the placement of things in the break room or the placement of things in a cafeteria. And if you put, say, the water as the first item in the drinks that they come to, or right there by where they might check out, if you have a cafeteria thing, they're more likely to grab the water than they are to walk on the other side and grab the soda. So it's not that you're taking away the sodas or the sweet teas or things, but you're strategically placing the healthier option at a place where it's more convenient and they're just going to kind of grab and go. And you can do the same things with your snacks. You don't have to completely get rid of like chips and cookies, but put them in a less than optimal place. They might have to walk across the room to get those, and put your other things like your nuts or your fresh fruits or your pork skins, because I love pork skins because I like crunch every once in a while. Put those in the grab and go easiest places to be seen. Even in your vending machine, I mean, it's in your place of employment. You kind of have some control. Ask them to put things that you want at eye level. Don't ask them to, or ask them to, okay, M&Ms go at the bottom or whatever, and put the stuff that's better here, at that. And then I would say you got to incentivize it. You make wellness and health fun. Get some competitions going between your employees and offer prizes for their win. So whoever exercises or walks the most, or whoever tracks their sleep and gets a certain amount of sleep, whatever that might be. And make it easier for your employees to move. So there's a bunch of companies that will put walking tracks around their property, something that I have plans to do eventually here if I ever get the funds going for it. Put a walking track around my entire property, so at lunchtime we can go out and walk and not have to be on the road or somewhere like that. Or even think about bringing in a gym. It is not convenient to go to a gym. It's not, because you have to leave work, drive to the gym, change your clothes, get in there, and then you're changing your clothes back. But what if you had a gym that people could either right before work or right after work just go straight over to it, in the same building or off to the side, and make it easier for them, make it convenient. We are creatures of convenience. We just are. That's what human nature is. So make it convenient, make it fun, and reward participation. Not everybody's going to be successful, and you shouldn't punish people who aren't successful, but you should reward participation for those people who are really trying to make those healthier changes.
Oh, those are some excellent tips. So I want to talk first about this placement piece. It is so important.
It is.
Let's think of the flip side. You walk into a bank, or you walk into an office, and there's a jar of candy right there. Everyone's going to put their hand in it, or maybe not everyone. I don't want to exaggerate here, but it's available for you. And that is one of the easiest things to swap out. Maybe you have some meat sticks there instead. Or maybe we don't have to encourage snacking all the time. I've had a text conversation with a niece of mine who struggles with the school, because every so many minutes or so they'll do an activity and then they need a snack if it's an after school activity, and then they do an activity and they need a snack.
Well, they're required. In Tennessee, they're required. If you stay more than 30 minutes after school, you're required to give a snack. If you stay more than 2 hours, you're required by the state to give them another snack. It's like our kids can't go 5 minutes without eating.
It's crazy if you think about it. It literally is, right? And I'm old enough to remember when we were drinking out of water fountains and nobody ever had a snack, but that's a whole other conversation. So placement is important, where you put things, giving them, the good choices to be frequently in their visual field. And the fun factor was interesting. You talk about opening up a space. I worked one time for a nonprofit, and the, sort of eating place, we would 3 or 4 times a week open it up, put the tables to the side, and we'd have exercise classes in there. They didn't have much space. That's very old school. And actually, a lot of employee wellness programs began in the 70s and 80s as it was fitness at the workplace. That was one of the first things they started to offer. We're way beyond that, but this is great tips. And I would suggest to anyone listening, if you want your employer to do more, start suggesting these things. Right? Take a minute suggestion about the water at the front. You can also reach out to us if you want to know more about our employee wellness programs. And we have a question about what states are you licensed in? Great question, Amanda.
Yeah, and not that I'm going to remember them. I would go to my website and scroll down to the bottom where it says telehealth in these states. We're in 23 different states, and I should have them memorized, but LJ Simmons, I do not.
Great. 23 states, fantastic. I know that's a lot of work to
It
get
is.
licensed. And if if you can't find it, do reach out to Amanda at her, and we've got the website there for Clear Path Medical. If you don't get the information or find out what you need.
Yeah, and on that video, Kristen, or on that website, I actually have a video that is me explaining kind of my practice philosophy and how my clinic works. It even goes through the pricing and things like that. So if someone is interested, they can listen to kind of me talking about the practice. And then if they decide they're in one of the states and they want to follow up with us, they can shoot us an email and we'll get them connected.
Oh, fantastic. So I just want to touch, we've got, just a little bit more time here. A lot of conversation around metabolic health focuses on weight loss. And as my health journey was very, very different, I would probably be labeled, no one knew what it was wrong with me. I just had lots of joint and inflammation and skin issues, which probably was some type of autoimmune or skinny fat, just poor metabolic health, but wasn't gaining weight. How do we expand the knowledge that working on your metabolic health is not solely a question of weight loss?
Yeah. I think through examples, but part of me hate the word metabolic health because it makes sense to you and I, but it just sounds kind of like gibberish to the average person. So trying to make it simpler for them to understand, why does this big word, why is it important to me? Which is why I like talking about that. All right, we have to talk about what happens at the little cellular level, because what's going on and what's broken here is going to come out and display in a much, much bigger way. But if you don't fix it at that tiny level, you're broken. You're broken. And most people can realize things of brokenness. They can realize, all right, my sugar's out of control. I have psoriasis. I have a joint pain. I am overweight and can't button my clothes. I don't sleep well. I snore. I bloat after I eat. Those are all signs that your body's trying to tell you that at the little cellular level, you're not optimally functioning. And if you're running on bad gas all the time, so to say, I like to use the car analogy all the time. If you start putting diesel in a gasoline engine, what's going to happen? It's going to explode. It's not going to work well. Well, when we're constantly putting non-food or only food-like substances in our body instead of good nourishing food, and when we're not giving our body the rest and the sleep management that it needs and the movement that it needs, it's essentially like trying to run the gasoline car on diesel. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work and it breaks. It's hard to get people to realize that you have to start that journey earlier, because when you're 20 or 30, you're building that body for that 40 and 50-year-old. But you don't feel it so much then most of the time. I think sometimes I was very fortunate to have things that made me feel bad and showed up on my skin from a very young age, because I knew I had to work on it from a younger age. But we're all bodybuilders. We all are. I mean, we're not bodybuilders like Robert Sykes. I'm not trying to get all muscled like that, but I'm a bodybuilder, and I'm now in my mid-40s building the body that I want to have in my 60s and 70s and 80s. So if you want to be a vibrant 40-year-old who doesn't already struggle with diabetes, blood pressure, erectile dysfunction, heartburn, name it, a list of anything that you could imagine taking medicine for, you have to start building that body ahead of time. And that's what your metabolic health focuses on, because it is the hormones that control that.
And a very key point here is start building the body now that you want later. Obviously, I'm much older than you. And I like to say, is not accept that getting old means you're going to be frail, miserable, solely reliant only on your, medicine box for the days of the week. Is to, like your patient, keep working, who finally now understands what's going on, and to not give up. right? I've heard Amy Berger say, if you've got thyroid issue, don't just say, well, I've got this issue. Keep looking to figure out what is actually going on and how you can improve it. So again, just a reminder, we got kind of 5 minutes left here. If you want to find out more about Amanda's event, Low Carb for Better Health, check out the website. Again, even if you can't go, the recording is available for purchase. If you want to know more about Amanda, check out her website, Clear Path Medical, and what her practice is doing to raise the bar on health. What do we call it? Healthcare for optimal health, not for just okay.
Yeah.
And we'd love to connect with you here at Ovadia Heart Health. So LinkedIn is a great way to connect with us. We've got up here, that's our LinkedIn way to connect. You can also reach out to us. We've got a lot of white papers actually on various topics we touched on. Our last one was about resiliency. We've got about musculoskeletal issues, food addiction. We've got 7, I believe now, and we're working on a case study with one of our companies. And they're all free. They're just free. All you got to do is put your email in there. Ames says, can't wait for the conference in Tennessee. Yay.
There's only 4 days left to buy tickets, Krishna.
Oh, okay.
So if they want in, I know the conference is not for like 2.5 weeks, but I have to have head counts in ahead of time. So we got till Thursday at 11:59 p.m. and then we're done.
As my mom would say, chop, chop. If you want a ticket on that. Any last thoughts, Amanda, on something you had hoped to chat about or share with your listeners and our listeners?
So one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about lately, and I've spoken about it publicly a couple of times. So early in my practice, I was very naive to the fact that thinking I could just heal people with a drug. That's how I spent the first part of my career, thinking I could just give them a medicine and heal it. But then I also turned naive after I became more low carb focused. And I started thinking, oh, I could heal everybody and everything with nutrition. Everybody just needed to go low carb and it was going to fix everything. So I was naive in 2 different points of my career. And I feel like I'm at a different point now to where, yes, you can make a whole lot better. And some people can completely heal with 100% nutrition, but sometimes you can't fix everything. Sometimes you can't undo everything, but you can keep trying and you can keep getting better. And that's when you really need to partner with a healthcare provider who is going to be there and to support you to make sure you're on the minimum amount of extra medicines. But if we can't fix everything, we can still be the best that we possibly can.
Oh, I love that. And, a quote or something I say on a regular basis, put your team together. In everything in life, whether it's sports, it's business, education, performing arts, you always have to have a team helping you perform well. So we need to accept in health that that's also part of it. Your healthcare providers, a coach, and it is part of your investment. We think about our financial investment, but what about your health investment? And that's a great insight. We learn from our naivete.
Yeah.
I see someone put in the dates, because there was a question about the date of the conference. Is that correct? 12th to the 13th?
Oh, that was me that put in those dates. Look at me multitasking.
Well, this has been a wonderful time. Again, just last little thing is to reach out to Amanda at her practice, Clear Path Medical. We've got Low Carb for Better Health. Check it out. And if you want to reach out to us and find more about our employee wellness programs, please do. And thank you for everything you do.
Oh, thank you.
And thanks for listening in, audience. Hope to see some of you. I won't be there this year live in person, but
Maybe next
maybe
year.
next year. Great. All right. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.